Hear ye, this is, hear ye, this is Lord Potato, and this is What If Naruto was the reincarnation of Zoro, Bakugo, and Inosuke, part 2, what's it? I think I did like some kind of weird shit where like the fact that I did like part 2, but I did like 1.5 of 2 parts, but the fact that I didn't actually do the second part is the fact that I'm an idiot that I left it off on that one. So I'm actually gonna change it to that being part 3. So this is part 3. I'm gonna change that title to part 2 because I left it off at, yeah, okay. And did some stupid shit. Which is not a big surprise since I almost do like stupid shit almost all the time. Also, this is how I thought of what's called Naruto's hair it's gonna be. It looks stupid as hell, I know, because I fucked it up. But yeah, he's gonna have green hair. His eyebrows are green. He has blonde hair but blue hair also, like blue highlights and blonde highlights and all that. So yeah. So, let me do a recap on what happened last time. Naruto, he beat the crap out of Kakashi for the fact that Kakashi called him weak. Of course, Naruto has his brother Menma and Sasuke to help him out in trying to stop, Naruto from beating the fuck out of Kakashi. They sent him to the hospital. Yeah, Kakashi woke up. Asuma, Guy, and Kara and I were kind of dying the fact that he got his ass kicked by a bored boy. Yes, that's what Naruto's called, bored boy. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this recap, and usually I don't really do that many recaps because I get lazy, it's the fact that when I reheard the video, yes, of course, I was hearing music in the background, and it was loud music, so, yeah, I'm doing recap. So, yeah. So, Naruto, he stopped beating the crap out of, what's called Kakashi. The next day happens, they were doing, some D-rank mission. Tora the cat ran away from Naruto because he was scared of Naruto. And yeah. So, of course, after that, they got a C-rank mission with Tazuna, and then went towards the land of waves. Of course, the demon brother got absolutely destroyed by Naruto exploding them out of the way. So, yeah. And also wanted to kill them. They gave up all the information, so yeah. And they walked forward. Kakashi just said, "What about me? Listen to me, you little rat." Yeah, of course. Naruto, Sasuke, and Menma ignored Kakashi. With that happening, we go on towards, where I left off. So, of course, when Naruto and Menma and Sasuke just moving on, Kakashi and Tazuna are walking behind and all that. This is where a sword decides to fly. Yeah, they saw a white rabbit, the white rabbit, blah, blah, you get the point. The sword, executioner blade, bleh, I kind of voice cracked that. The executioner blade came and was about to stab, everyone, until Naruto says, everyone duck. Everyone ducks except for Naruto. Well, Kakashi was the one. Naruto pulls out his 2 swords and blocks the executioner blade. And, of course, this is where Naruto kind of sends smoke from his nostril of the boar head and say, "Who the fuck threw that damn sword?" And this is where Zabuza comes and says, "The fuck? A boar? Huh?" He's confused. He's like, "Why the fuck is there someone wearing a boar head? Hey kid, why the fuck are you wearing a boar head?" And Naruto says, "Were you the one to throw that stupid fucking sword at me? You wanna fight, you bastard?" And of course, Naruto is like swinging, he's like flailing his swords up and down, kind of getting angry, the fact and all that. Of course, this is where Zabuza says, "Kid, you really think you can beat me? I am Zabuza Momochi. Was he A-rank ninja or B-rank ninja? I can't remember what was he. So he's an A-rank ninja. Now, of course, this is where Kakashi says, "All of you fall back. I'll be fighting Zabuza." Which Naruto ignored his freaking whatever, like, protocol callback and all that. And Naruto rushes at Zabuza, trying to slice at Zabuza. which Zabuza is managing to dodge but for how long? Not really that long, until Kakashi kind of grabs Naruto from the head and throws him back towards, well, what's it called, Sasuke and the others. So yeah, with that happening, Kakashi's right now fighting against Zabuza, and Kakashi still got his ass beat by, well, Zabuza, and he's still trapped in that whole water person. This is where Naruto rushes at Zabuza, and this is where something changes. So when Naruto was about to slice at, well, what's called Zabuza's, well, his water clone still rushes at them. Naruto slices through them pretty easily and starts rushing at, well, Zabuza. Zabuza, well, decides to like swing down. This is where Kakashi and the other said no, and Naruto pulls up his like, well, his left left sword to block the executioner, which is kind of broke through his sword. Of course, Naruto was kind of angry the fact that his sword was broken, and of course the executioner blade kind of did swing down, but of course it kind of missed a lot of vital points, but there was this long like freaking deep gash and all that slash, and well, Naruto's well chest, stomach, and all that. Yeah, to shoulder, to stomach, and all that. And Zabuza said, ha ha ha, look at that, Kakashi, I kill your student. So yeah, so of course Naruto was not moving. And Zabuza was like, ha ha ha, look at that, Kakashi, I'll just kill your student. While Menma and Sasuke said no! And Tarzan was afraid. This is where Naruto fucking kicked Zabuza in the stomach. Zabuza go, motherfucker. He lets go of the executioner blade, but not let go of what's called Kakashi's water pressing. Now, Naruto, he grabs the executioner blade, and he puts it on his mouth, the what's called handle. Because Naruto has to train his mouth and all that to hold up weapons and all that. And he does pull out his other sword, the regular sword that I think I said he got it from Sasuke and her parents and all that, because Naruto then murdered them. And if you want to know how this scene kind of looks like, I kind of did watch an anime clip, another one. I mean, I watch a lot, but yeah, let me show you. So, if you have already watched One Piece and already all the way further to, I guess, where this is at, I just watched this anime clip, but yeah. So, I mean, it looks like this, and also it's pretty damn loud. That's what it is. So, Naruto, what he does, instead of having, like, a scythe and all that, he pulls the executioner on, like, his mouth and all that. Like Zoro does to that scythe. So, yeah. That happening. So, yeah. Of course, he doesn't put Conqueror's Hawking. Well, I mean, he someone puts Conqueror's Hawking in his like blaze while even noticing it. So yeah, with that happening, Naruto, he just puts Conqueror's Hawking into his blade, even into the executioner. While even noticing this, he kind of does this in instinct because of Zoro's. Well, Zoro does it also in instinct. So yeah, that's what Naruto does because he sort of has the skills of being the reincarnation of Zoro. So yeah. So Zoro never teach him how to put Hawking into his like armor Hawking into his weapons. So yeah, that never happened. But Naruto just speedblitz fucking Zabuza and slash at Zabuza. So there's this giant fucking slash on Zabuza's chest, and these two like smaller slashes. One kind of scarring his eye. So yeah, one slash that kind of went up his eye, his like left eye, and the other one kind of went straight for his neck. So one on his like chest, his eye, and then his neck. Or not neck. I'm gonna say arm. And of course, his arm flies off, and he does bleed a lot of blood from his eyes and all that, because there's a giant fucking slash and also a fucking gap in his like chest. Of course, this is where Zabuza lets go of Kakashi at the water prison, and of course, this is where Haku was fucking amazed and horrified and shocked. The fuck did this kid with the boar head fucked up Zabuza? So of course, with that happening, he had to put Senbons, and Naruto noticed the person, and this is where Naruto says, "Take him, I'll fight him next time. I'll become the strongest swordsman out there." And Haku was just shocked that this person already knew that he was there to help Zabuza. He only said that because he has what's called Zoro's pride and all that. Somewhat. He wants to, not Zoro's pride. Pretty much all of them would just try to kill. What? I don't know much about it. But yeah. With that happening, Haku does take Zabuza. Zabuza can't get his other arm because it got cut off. So it's his left arm, and his left eye is like fucked up. And also there's a giant fucking gap of slash. Also, he doesn't have his executioner blade. Fucking Naruto's keeping that for fucking keepings. You broke his blade, he's keeping it. Now, fuck off. So yeah, Haku just takes Zabuza. Zabuza is badly injured. Kakashi is still worn out, but amazed, but then passes out. So of course this is where Sasuke and Menma has to carry Kakashi. And with Naruto, he is bleeding, but he doesn't care. He's walking perfectly fine. Looks like he's walking perfectly fine. He has the executioner on his back and the two swords back into, well, his fucking, what's it called, side and all that. And also his one sword that was broken, he just left that there. He was kind of mad that, yeah, Zabuza fucked up his sword. But yeah, Naruto is going to take the executioner blade for the keepings. Yeah. So they get to where, what's called, Tazuna's house is at. And yeah. So with that happening, when they get back, get to Tazuna's house, this is where Naruto just falls down. And yeah. And this is where Tazuna's daughter does kind of heal both Naruto, well not heal, but mostly put bandages over Naruto and all that. Because he does have that giant gash, slash and all that. And also, Kakashi wakes up the next day. He isn't that badly hurt or anything. Or wasted any chakra that much, by that matter. Well, I mean, he's still wasted because he's had his Sharingan activated. So, with that happening, Naruto kind of sleep for 4 days. And the 4th day happens. Kakashi has tried to train, well, Menma and Sasuke. Which Menma sort of just trained Sasuke in trying to use chakra control onto the tree and water walking. Which Kakashi wanted to teach him that, but Menma's already good at it. And, well, when Naruto wakes up, he's like, ugh, what happened? Of course, this is where Kakashi wanted to not let Naruto have the executioner blade. But he saw Kakashi about to, like, touch the executioner blade. This is where Naruto jumps out and kicks Kakashi in the face. So, yeah. Of course, Kakashi gets knocked out, and yeah. Naruto changed his clothes and all that back to his like clothes and all that. He still has that chain. Well, his shirt was kind of ripped and all that, so he's not wearing that. Instead, he's just wearing it nothing. He's going fully, just how should I say? He's fully just going Inosuke. He still has his board head and all that. So yeah. Of course, this is where what's it called? Tazuna's daughter does like wash up his like board head because it does smell like hell. So yeah, with that happening, of course, what's called Tazuna has built the bridge and all that way faster and had no distractions with Gato or Zabuza. When Zabuza did manage to sort of wake up from his what's called napping, this is where he kind of sees, well, his son and his daughter. Yes. I never mentioned this, but yes, what's it called? Haku and Haki. Those are the two kind of children he kind of took from what's called before the whole bloody purge or whatever from the Mist Village. So yeah, they aren't really related, but yeah. And of course, Haki saying, Zabuza, our father. And Haku saying, you mean master. And Zabuza said, it's okay, Haku. Hakin, are you okay? Hakin said, yes, but what about you? You lost an arm. You can barely open your other eye. And you have such a huge gash. So, I should have mentioned this, but the executioner was the one that kind of hurt, well, kind of slashed through what's called. They didn't really slash fully through what's called Zabuza's chest and all that. It's just a giant gash and all that. His eye was because of one of the swords, and what's called his arm was also because of one of the other swords. So yeah, of course Zabuza said, I'm fine. Haku, this is a mission fail. I'm not gonna go fight that kid. If that kid can just take the executioner blade like that, he can have the executioner blade. I'd rather surrender. And Haku was like, but Zabuza, what about the money? Zabuza said, there's no point in grabbing that money or getting the money. The fact that I lost an arm and I can't see from one eye and I'm still wounded doesn't mean I need to die to get the money. It's better if we don't get the money, okay? And so Haku understands, and of course, where they're going is actually towards, well, Kakashi and others. So they pack up a lot of things and start walking to Kakashi and, like, the others. Hakin and Haku are coming along. And of course, this is where Naruto was kind of training the force, because it's about so it's the fourth day and all that. And Naruto just training with his blades and trying to use the three sword style. And trying to learn how to use armor hawking again. Which Zoro just says there's three types of hawkings. There's sensory hawking, there's armor hawking, and there's also, not sensory hawking, observation hawking, armor hawking, and conqueror's hawking. The only hawking I had was observation and armoring. Actually, does Zoro has observation? I only seen him use what's called armor from multiple anime clips. But observation hawking, I don't actually know if he actually has that. I'm gonna say he does. So yeah. And Naruto is trying to, well, use armor and hawking again and Windblade because he doesn't, well, he tries to use them, all three of them, but he can't. So he's using it on the executioner blade, seeing if he can actually put armor and hawking on it. Now, Naruto is holding the what's called executioner blade with one hand instead of two because he can just lift that shit up. Because he put it in his mouth. He fucking fucked up Zabuza. And this is where Zabuza, Hakin, and Haku appeared when what's called Naruto's right now just slashing at the tree using the executioner blade. And this is where Hakin said, Father, isn't that your executioner blade? As Zabuza said, well, isn't it the boarhead kid? And so Naruto turns around, and of course, Hakin just blushes because, first of all, my boy Naruto is fucking ripped as hell. He's basically having the muscles of that of Zoro, Inosuke, and Bakugo, sort of all mixed into his body. But yeah, you get the point. He's ripped as hell, and he does not have his boarhead or anything. He just has his missing, like, bunch of colors in his head. And, Zabuza said, well, that's how you look like underneath your mask. And Naruto says, huh? Aren't you that guy that told me that, you were gonna beat me up and try to kill me? Are you back here for round 2? I'll beat your ass with your own blade. And, Zabuza said, ha. I'm not really here to fight. You're A1. Clearly, you're the strongest. And of course, Naruto says, damn right! Of course, it's where Zabuza kind of just asks if he can talk to a sensei. And Naruto says, Sensei? What sensei? And Zabuza said, the white hair. Oh, him? Sure, why not? So, of course, they're going towards what's called, Kakashi and the others. And Kakashi just, like, sort of trying to talk towards Sasuke. and Menma tried to train them in using lightning release, because Menma has lightning release and also Sasuke. He tried to train what's called Naruto to see if he has any chakra natures. So, I should mention, so he did give chakra papers towards all three of them. What's it called before the whole episode meeting and all that. Sasuke has lightning and fire. Menma has lightning, wind, and water. And Naruto, he just looks at the paper and not even uses it and walks away. So yeah. What's it called? Of course, Kakashi goes, fuck, 6. So yeah. With that happening, he's trying to train them in using lightning release. Of course, this is where Kakashi looks up and sees Naruto and says, "Oh, are you finally here to actually see what your chakra nature is?" And when he opens his like one eye and all that, he sees Zabuza, Haku, and Hakin. Of course, Haku and Hakin has their mask on, and Hakin does have a hood over her like hair and all that. And Zabuza says, "Hello there, copy ninja Kakashi." Kakashi gets ready and pulls out kunai, and Naruto says they give up. They said something about like they wanted to join us in our village or something. And Kakashi says, "Can you trust him that easily, Naruto?" Menma and what's it called, Sasuke? Sasuke just says, "Oh, hello," and Menma says, "Hello there. If you really are gonna join us, can you please not try to kill us?" And Zabuza said it kindly, saying, "Sure, I'm not trying to kill you. Besides, I lost an arm and an eye, and also I still have wounds and all that. Why would I dare try to attack, knowing I'm gonna die from this kid with a bunch of hair colors?" And of course, Naruto's right now next to Hakin and just talking to her. And Hakin is surprised that Naruto's just talking to her and all that. So yeah. With that happening, of course, Kakashi says, "Fine, you can stay here, blah blah blah." Of course, the next day happens, and of course, Haku is right now with Salsa in a room trying to treat his like injuries and all that. And Hakin is, well, she's kind of just sleeping in her own room while like Tazuna's daughter and all. Tazumi? I think that's her name. And Inari, and for fuck's sake, I haven't done a Naruto What If in a couple days, and I forgot his name. Basically, his grandson, it's what's it called? So yeah, Ignari still talks about like you ninjas aren't gonna be able to defeat blah blah blah, and Tazuna says, "Hey kid, it's better if you not talk. You know who did these wounds to me? That kid over there with that forehead." And Naruto's right now just eating like a madman and all that. And this is where Menma says, "Brother, I think it's a better job if you learn how to, well, be at least mannerful and all that." And Menma kind of looks at, well, Sasuke, and Sasuke doing the exact same thing. And Menma just hides. Whatever. Just eating like a madman also. Kakashi goes, "Oh, for fuck's sakes. If one of them does the thing that Naruto does, then all of them does it. Oh, for fuck's sakes." Zabuza says, "What, do you not have a great control on your team?" And Kakashi says, "Yes." This is where Mama says no. And this is where Zabuza laughs. And Kakashi gets embarrassed. He's like, "Oh, for fuck's sakes, Mama, you're not supposed to say that." But yeah, that happens. So, we go on to the next day, and of course Naruto oversleeps, Hakin also oversleeps, and everyone does leave and all that. So Menma, Sasuke, Kakashi, Zabuza, and Haku. So yeah, they just wanted to let Hakin and Naruto sleep and all that. So of course this is where Naruto and Hakin just wake up in their rooms and all that, and hear screaming and all that from Inari and, well, Tatsumi. I think that's her name, Tatsumi. So yeah. So when they get out of the room, because they rushes out, Naruto already like pulled out his swords and all that. And of course, he does not have his shirt, anything at all. He does pull on his forehead and does see the bandits. Hawking already threw one what's called ice needle at one of them. And Naruto comes out of nowhere and says, "Slice and dice, motherfucker!" And slices his man to fucking beat just bits of nothing. Okay. So Inari and Tatsumi just thanks what's called Hawking and Naruto, and they say you're welcome and all that. And Naruto can be respectful anytime he wants to. Of course he sometimes not, but yeah, because he does have Bakugo sword personality. He's somewhat respectful, but at the same time very angry and explosive. So of course Inari now believes that yes, the ninjas are gonna be able to defeat what's called Gato and his dogs and all that. Yeah. So yeah, with that happening, they go on to fight what's it called? What's it called? What am I talking about? Naruto and Haki to go towards the bridge. Now, of course, this is where Haku and Zabuza are right now still on the bridge and all that, just sort of helping, just looking around. And this is where Gato's army comes early, since Zabuza did not give a crap about the money. And this is where they meet, someone named Kakuzu, a what's called S-rank ninja, who was actually hired to go get rid of the ninjas and also the bridge building. Now, Kakuzu is saying, you must be Zabuza Momochi and Kakashi the copy ninja. Now, of course, this is where Sasuke and Menma are right now fighting against the bandits and all that. And, of course, Zabuza is having a trouble time fighting against, Kakuzu. And same with what's called Kakashi. Haku is right now using Ice Dog to freeze a bunch of bandits and all that. So yeah. And Gato, he's right now just sitting all the way in the back, laughing and all that. A bunch of people that were building a bridge already ran away and all that. And Tazuna was also running away and sees Naruto and Hawking going towards the bridge. Now, this is where Naruto puts the executioner blade in his mouth. Well, he doesn't put the executioner blade because it's still kind of heavy and all that. So he asks Hawking if he can make an ice sword, or she can make an ice sword for him. So of course that's what she does. She makes a kind of ice katana sword and all that for Naruto, and Naruto puts it in his mouth. He pulls out the other two, and he does he does Kitaryu and looks at Kakuzu, and he's right now about to kill Zabuza and Kakashi, and Naruto just rushes at him using I think it was Kitaryu means what's called the So Kitaryu, you kind of has 9 different blades and all that now. And of course, this is where Naruto rushes at Kakuzu and just multiple slashes happen Kakuzu's body, which means that he actually managed to destroy all 5 hearts. And Kakuzu then falls limp and dead. Now, this is where Zabuza and Kakashi are shocked. And of course, Naruto does take out the sword, the ice sword, but it breaks. And Naruto says shit. Of course, everyone is shocked, and especially Gato. Gato says, that brat, kill him. And Naruto now pulls out the executioner blade and puts it in his mouth and rushes at all the bandits, just slashing through them like absolutely nothing. Cutting through them like it's nothing. Using armor and Hawking now to easily just slash through all of them. Of course, it's where Gato is saying, please, I'll give you anything. Naruto says, then give me death. Kaboom! Blast him out of the way. Explode his ass. So yeah. Now, Zabuza just says he defeated an S-rank ninja. What the fuck is this kid even? What is this kid? And of course, Naruto still has the ice sword and gives it back to Hawking. And Hawking says, it's okay. And Naruto just says, I'm sorry about breaking that sword. And of course, Hawking says, no, it's fine. So yeah. So of course, after the bridge got built and all that, finished building, they said, what should we name this? And Naruto says, the Great Inosuke Bridge. Haha! And, they said, that's a terrible name, but okay. The Great Forehead Bridge. Naruto just posing. Of course, they just say, you know what, let's just call it the Great Naruto Bridge. They said, agree. Naruto says, what do you mean? Call it the Forehead. Now, of course, Naruto wasn't wearing the Forehead when he was using what's called 3-sword style. He can't really much. So, yeah. So, of course, when they're going back to the village, Kakashi did warn what's called Hiruzen about that. We have Zabuza Momochi wanting to join, but he is very hurt, and so he can't really be a swordsman. I should say, a great use to the village that much. He wants to be a civilian most of the time. And of course, that's where Hiruzen already got the message. They all come in. They do go through what's called to the tower. Hiruzen does tell them, well, welcome to the Leaf Village, Zabuza Momochi. And of course, his, 2 children and all that. Haku kind of shows his face. And of course, this is where Sasuke says, hey, cutie, how's you doing? And Naruto says, Sasuke, you realize that's a boy. And Sasuke, how the fuck do you know that? And Haku was like, how do you know that? Your voice kind of sounds like a boy. Hell no. And, Sasuke says, the fuck? I thought it, he did it before, and he didn't do it because Haku never took off his mask during the whole time they were spending there. Haku did take off her mask after a while also, but Naruto already saw her face before when they were training somewhat. So yeah. So of course this is where Haku is actually gonna put in Team 7, and Haku would be as a tuning. Put in a tuning team or whatever. Or well, not tuning team. He would actually just be tuning because his eyesight is much powerful than that of his sisters. So yeah, with that happening, the tuning exams will now begin. But that's where I'm actually going to leave it off. Have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. I actually have to go to the store to get something, somewhat. So yeah, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. And, wait.
Приятного дня, картофеля, картофеля, ночи, картофеля, сна, картофеля, картофеля, картофеля.
Yeah, that just says have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. Yep, bye-bye.